You're going to guarantee my wife doesn't hear this, right? If she was here, she would tell you we have way too many trucks, way too much equipment. She's not a big fan of Municibid when I'm on
it. Join us as we dive into the wild world of government auctions and take you behind the scenes to uncover the cool and unique ways bidders from across America are utilizing the items they've won on Municibid. Like an ambulance repurposed into a work truck, to a city bus converted into an RV, and so much more. Welcome to the Municibid podcast.
Hi, Gavin. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Municibid podcast. How are you doing?
Good. Excellent. Thanks for having me.
And can you start us off by introducing yourself and what you do?
Sure. Gavin Lingo, the owner of the Lingo Group Incorporated. We're a landscape nursery operation. Pretty much every outside aspect we handle. So design, build, maintenance, nursery stock, installation, tree spade. We do underground irrigation, outdoor lighting, and audio systems. And we do some other stuff too. We have some dumpsters and camera service and pipe cleaning and stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
What spurred you to start the Lingo Group business?
Just started as a young boy, 12 years old, 15 years old, landscaping. Then I went to work for an uncle that had a maintenance business, and then just worked my way up, and then graduated high school in 82. I went to Del Valle College at the time for a short, 2.5 years, and then left and just continued building the business. And today we probably peak out at 50 employees, and I'm not 40, so 45 some trucks maybe. And then we have 22 acres of nursery stock. So we've built it up, and now I have two of my sons and my daughter working in the business as well, and my wife alongside of us. Now we're in the midst of spring.
Your busiest season, I take it.
Yeah, it's been good. We're fortunate. It's been very busy. So
yeah, good to keep everything, all those wheels turning, everything going. With your nursery, what are some of the things that you're growing?
A big thing for us, we have a lot of Norway spruces, and then we grow those on. Most of those are peaking at 24 to 25 feet, 26 feet, and they're probably 16 foot wide. So we have a 90-inch tree spade truck, and then we tie those up and dig them. And the reason we're digging them so large is because a lot of customers, they want to block out a neighbor or an adjoining building or something like that for privacy. Then we have a lot of arborvitaes, American hollies, boxwoods, some shade trees. We have some oriental spruces, but a lot of evergreen type material.
And are you using these trees and plants in your landscaping projects, or is it more so customers are buying the plants direct from you?
So it's mostly our own stock for our projects, but we have a handful of people that we do sell to. Other contractors that I'm friendly with, and so there's different a couple garden centers that'll call me and they need a piece or whatever, and then we'll dig it and sell it direct to them.
And of all the different landscaping projects, lighting, you mentioned audio setup as well. What's been your favorite project?
We've done some pretty large projects, so there's been some interesting ones. We've done very large cobble driveway on a farm project. So that was very involved. So it's actually a cobble lane that they can drive on, but it's like the old Germantown roads. They had their actual real cobbles. So it was a really massive project. So we just completed that this early spring. And then, so that was large in that it was complex, a lot of different elevations and grades, and it came out really well. And then we did a lot of hardscaping on it, and then a lot of low voltage lighting on the project. So when all in all came together, and then once we soldered it, it put the finishing touches on it. So it's working out well. That was a nice job. And we've done a couple big ones, a couple big pond jobs with walls and big retaining walls. Same thing, the lighting and audio was built into it. they're probably the most interesting ones.
That's fantastic. Aaron, what would you say is the most challenging part of projects like this?
Just logistics, to do pull. So we have a landscape architect on staff. So he starts with all the design build, from scratch, puts it on paper, and then develops it all the way through to the end. And it's logistically just making the job happen as it was designed, there's as-built things that happen along the way to the project. And then, the timing, everybody has a function and a deadline that we're shooting for. So knock on wood, it's worked for us, but we do pull some late nights. And as we speak now, it's 6:30 and our crews are still out going at it. So we started doing our annual flower installation 2 days ago. Now's the big push to put in thousands of annuals in the flower beds.
Wow.
Yeah, tis the season.
That's outstanding. Yeah, that's a lot of work and a lot of moving pieces going on to all coordinate and keep running all together.
And like every business, it was a challenge, with COVID when that hit, and you wouldn't think our industry was but every industry in the world was affected, and you wouldn't think that we were because like plant material and everything, but everything else in the supply chain, plant material was a shortage, hard to get. You couldn't get the sizes you wanted or the material you wanted. So you really have to spend a lot of time, shopping around, looking and coordinating. So it complicated, but we made it through, and I think everybody's for the better now, and hopefully we get to move on in a positive direction.
Did you start your nursery because of issues that you were having with sourcing plants, or had you had the nursery when you first started the business?
No, so we started the nursery. We probably had it now 15, 16 years. So when we acquired a larger property, and then it was sort of, rolled into it. Like we had the larger property, and then we were able to start to do our own material. And just for that reason, to source it for our jobs, our jobs, our customers. And then we recently added on just in the last 2 years, and then we had 11 acres and then we doubled it, and now we have 22 acres. It works out. It's convenient for us.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Aaron, can you tell us more about what your fleet and what type of vehicles and equipment you're using for these projects?
You're going to guarantee my wife doesn't hear this, right?
I can't make that promise.
Yeah. She's definitely going to, if she was here, she would tell you we have way too many trucks, way too much equipment. And she's not a big fan of Municibid when I'm on it. But as far as our fleet goes, we have a mix. We're a big Ford truck people. But we have Mack trucks, Internationals, Freightliners, and we have a big mix. So we have tractor trailers, we have hook trucks, which are dumpster trucks that carry all our materials, topsoil, stone, mulch, plant material. Then we have a lot of trailers. So EB's one of our big manufacturers that probably been dealing with for 30 years now. They build and design. Started out doing custom truck bodies for us, and we still deal with them today, to this day. And then we have a whole array of equipment, wheel loaders and excavators and skid loaders and mini skid loaders, all that stuff.
What piece of equipment or vehicle do you think has been the most valuable for growing your business and taking on more projects?
It's a good question. I mean, they all sort of interface and interact, so it works. But like, we started using the hook trucks for the dumpsters for moving material, and it's got to be 20, 25 years now. And those have been detrimental because we can move materials, equipment. We work out of the dumpster, so it keeps our job sites clean. So we don't have to dump our material on the sites and make a mess. We work out of those dumpsters. So they've been really helpful. Obviously, the tree spade, because we move a lot of trees, and you have to have the tree spade to pick up these big trees and move them. And I would say they're the most detrimental. Everything else is it all pulls together. We use the wheel loaders on job sites, and we're doing a job now where we have a couple stand on skid loaders, and that's the only thing we can get into these properties where we have a steep slope and where we have to go, and so that's what we're using to access. So they all sort of intermingle and function and make the job, and it just makes the job more efficient, and we get things done quicker. At least that's what I tell my wife.
I'm sure it's true. With running and maintaining all these different vehicles and equipment, what do you think is the most challenging part of overseeing all of that?
We're fortunate. So I have one full-time mechanic. We have one part-time mechanic. So as far as keeping everything, we're really big on maintenance. We're huge on that. PM, oil changes, greasing, power washing the machines when they come back from job sites. Really just keeping everything in tune and ready to go for the next job. So every time someone comes back into our shop, it goes through a maintenance. Like right now, we have a wheel loader in the garage, and that just got power washed and it's clean, and it'll be going out next week to another job. Because again, that's what makes us efficient and helps the guys do the job and get it done, safely, properly, efficiently, all the above. So that's the big thing. Keep it all moving. And, if you have downtime, we get downtime. We have machines that go down, you have to get a part, and we just had parts shipped in on one of our Volvos, and the part comes in from Germany. So it took like a week and a half to get here. But, we got it. So that's probably the most difficult part, trying to make sure you have all that.
And are you still seeing issues with supply chain about getting the parts that you need?
Absolutely. I would like to sit here and say it's over and we should move on as a country, but there's still issues with getting, not nearly as bad as it was, but there's still people that don't have something in stock, and then you have to shop it around. But yeah, it's still out there. It's still happening. And again, not as bad, but it's still there.
Well, I'm glad it's getting better, but it's definitely a bummer to hear that it's still a problem sourcing some of the things that you need to operate. With regards to government auctions, what's been your favorite auction win at Municibid?
So we do underground irrigation and lighting, and we had a really large project out in the main line. So for example, we looked at a new machine. We're going to purchase it, and that machine was right around the $90,000 price range. And of course, it has all the new bells, whistles, gadgets, and computers, and all the things that are expensive when they break. So we saw that there was a trencher, an old Vermeer trencher. It only had 300 and some hours on it. I think it was Effort that we bought it from. We bid on that, and we ended up winning the bid at like $7,900 or $7,800. We used it on that one job, which was a large project. We were there for a few months, paid for itself on that job, and we've used it on 5 other jobs after that. And it's been a real asset because it wasn't that old of a machine, but old enough that it was mechanical, so it wasn't computerized. So everything on it was built to last. So it worked out really well. So that was probably one of the bigger ones. We've had a lot of smaller ones. Bought a couple fire trucks. We use those for watering. So we do a couple of things. We advertise with them. We use them in parades. Go in our local town. We give out candy to the kids, and then we have audio systems on the fire trucks, so we can play all the music, and they're high-end audio systems, so they're loud. And so we got a kick out of that. A lot of the employees go into the parade with us and do it, and then everybody says, "Why do you need a fire truck?" And then we literally use the fire trucks. We've watered everything from sod to trees to shrubs. We use them for washing down facilities when we do some cleanup and maintenance on the other facilities when they ask us to come down and wash down an area. So we'll take those trucks in and wash them because they both have 750-gallon tanks, so we can use them for that. They've come in handy. Like it's worked out. We've done a bunch of birthday parties with them, and surprisingly, the 3-year-old and 5-year-olds love it, and so do their 40 and 50-year-old parents. They love it even more. Like it's really funny. So it's been interesting. So. But we bought a lot of hose on Municibid, nozzles. I don't know. I keep looking at the list, and it's starting to get a little long on what we purchased. So, um, but it's interesting how it works. It's interesting to bid.
Well, you're a big company with a lot of projects going on, so you definitely need to have all the vehicles and equipment and tools to get the work done. That's pretty cool about the fire trucks. So the fire trucks, are you using them within your nursery too? Or is it mostly you're driving them out to job sites in order to water and clean down?
Yeah, so we do both. So the one fire truck it stays here pretty often. So we have a water source nearby, so we pump from there, and then we fill the truck there. So we use that to water a lot of the nursery material and stuff we're digging. And then the other truck we do take out on the job sites. Again, that project where we did the cobbles, we had the truck up there for a few months because between washing down and watering the sod and the trees, we were using it constantly. So we do both. We take them on the job site, and then they stay here.
That's fantastic. What's the maintenance been like on those? Because that's a big fire engine.
Yeah, so that's it's funny you say that because we've done the parties and some birthday parties, and they say, well, that'd be great if you can bring a fire truck, and then we bring the fire truck. They're like, well, wow, that's a real fire truck. Like, I'm like, well, that's what we told you we were going to bring. But we've done some maintenance, but nothing. Knock on wood, nothing catastrophic or major. They've been. I mein, the crazy thing is they spend a lot of money on these trucks to buy them initially, and a lot of times they sell way cheaper than you would think, and they have low miles on them and big diesel engines and transmissions. So again, we've done some minor stuff to it, but nothing. We clean them, we wax them, we did a few things on the pumps to service wise, but again, nothing major, and they really work well.
What advice would you give to someone that was considering buying a fire engine or new to government auctions and considering starting to bid in government auctions for some vehicles and equipment?
You have to do a little bit of homework, but I think most of the departments or municipalities that are selling stuff like that, it's usually pretty well maintained. And it's obvious when you start to look through, when you look through the photographs and the descriptions, and Municibid does have it set up pretty well. They have the call, you can call into the people and ask the questions and make the phone calls. So if you just spend some time in a little due diligence, do your homework and check out the pricing and set your bid. And I think I've listened to a couple other, what do you call these, podcasts or whatever that you set up. And
yes,
I think the common thing is, you get caught up in the bidding, and sometimes you do pay a little more than you want to pay. And, I'll be the first one to agree to it. It's happened to me a couple times, but I do try to stay somewhat focused. And, once I pick my number and I'm going to do it, that's, I try to, but I've also I've also paid more than I wanted to for a few things, but it's worked out well for us. So at least I have that, we do utilize it, and it's worked out well. So I'm happy with it.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of excitement with the auctions. Are you going to win?
Yeah.
And seeing, the last hour, the last few minutes, which way is it going to go? Yeah. It's a pretty contagious feeling, I think, across the board. You're not alone. And for starting a landscape business, for listeners that might be considering themselves getting into the space for the first time, what recommendations would you give to them, someone who's just starting out with building their own landscaping company?
Well, nowadays it's definitely a different market. So I think just start slow, study. A good controlled growth is a good sound way to go. I think there's a lot of guys and women that get into it and they want to, blow it up and be the biggest. And for me, I think I'd like to be more controlled. I like to say that we're really good at what we do, and I don't want to be a little bit good at. I want to be really good at everything we do. We try to really focus on that, And my thing here is I tell all my employees, like, focus on the attributes that we provide for our customers. I'm not really worried about the guy down the road or the nursery down the road. Like, I'm concerned about us, what we provide for our customer base, how we do it. That's our biggest concern.
Definitely keeping the human side and understanding the needs of your customers and what they're looking to accomplish with what would be the end result of, beautiful landscaping and audio systems and lighting systems.
I think it still does matter to people today, even with the tech world we're in, that you have that personal side. 95% of our business is all referral work, and it has been for years. So, when they call this office, they speak to myself or one of my sons or one of the people in the office, and we answer the phones. We have an after hours service. If they want to meet with me on the job site, I'll meet with them on the job site. Or that personal side. I think for anybody starting business, if you lose that, and we get a lot of other work from other companies because, just for that reason, we called, they didn't get back to us or whatever. And we didn't hear from her. We didn't get to meet. And I think that's sort of sad in today's society because there's a lot of people that just don't want to, there's companies that want to, well, email us and we'll get back to you and we'll get you an answer. And I think there still is people that want to deal, one-on-one, personal.
And it's surprising, like in my own life, working with other companies or trying to source vendors, how many don't respond or get back to you, or how difficult it can be to talk to a person. So it would seem like in this modern day that technology is the advantage, but I think it's flipping around where people and the person-to-person interaction is really the advantage as emails get lost in inboxes, or a robot is dealing with voicemails. So, that's wonderful to keep that personal connection. And when you first started Lingo Group, was it originally focused as the family running the business, or was it something over time that, your kids and your wife became more interested in supporting the business?
Actually, today is my 38th year anniversary.
Aw, congratulations.
So my wife and I have been together for 38. Thank you. And so we've been together since high school, and she's been with me by my side the whole way. So we built the business together. And then we had 4 children, and 3 of those children are now with us working in the business. And now we have 5 grandchildren with a 6th one on the way. So
congratulations.
Yes. So I think early on, we built the family and raised the business and the kids and everything. And, I think that was always mine and my wife's dream. Eventually the kids will come into the business. And so now they are. And, we're trying to take it to a different level for them, and what they bring to the table now. And so in the last 10, 15, 18 years, things have changed a lot because we've grown that much. So, and it's been good. It's been very good. I mean, I have no complaints, and it's any business. If you own the business, you just be prepared. There's it's great to have your own business, but there's a lot of hours involved. And for me, I put my heart and soul into it, and my kids do, my wife does. It's our name, it's our business, and it means a lot to us. So
that's fantastic.
So, but it all works out. You have to manage. You have to manage the family time, the business time, and it is. I don't know if it's more difficult than other business, but it's a seasonal business. So, the big push is it's now, it's the fall. We have, every season's, it seems like every season is a push. And I don't know anymore with the climate, our winters weren't always as busy. We do a lot of snow work, but not anymore, like the last couple winters, we worked all through the winter. So we didn't really have a downtime, which is a good thing, no complaints.
And is that you're getting more snow or you're getting more snow removal work, do you think?
We've always had, so our snow removal really consists of just commercial accounts, and there were always large commercial accounts. So that's been pretty consistent. It's just, the weather. A couple of seasons we didn't have really big snows, so that tapered off. And then with not having the big snows, we were lucky that we had some of these big projects working. So we were able to keep working throughout the winter because we didn't have to deal with the frost and the snow.
Right. So a plus side there.
Yeah, exactly. Worked out both ways.
What recommendations would you give to people thinking about bringing on their family to work as a part of the business?
That's a good question. I'm fortunate. It's a family business, so like every family, you have your ups and downs. And my big thing is we all try to communicate well. Make sure we all understand what's going on, what we're trying to accomplish. We try to review that stuff constantly. Just that's the biggest thing is the communication, because communication, when that starts to fail, it seems like everything just sort of tumbles down behind it. So I think I think it works well with us. And again, we have the technology now. We have two-way radios. We have the cell phones, the email, the texting. So I think that's the biggest hurdle. If you can keep the communication flowing and everybody knows what the plan is and where you're trying to go and what you're trying to accomplish. With that being said, there is still those days when there's issues and things that have to be dealt with and changed around, but we make it work. So
yeah, but good communication, it sounds like, sets the foundation, right? If something changes on site of a project that's different than what the original drawing, scope was for, just communicating that in real time so you can be able to adjust accordingly. Because I'm sure once you're on site, there's sometimes things that you find out. I'm imagining like when you have to dig maybe cables or pipes buried underground or something that weren't on any maps.
I would say that happens about 4 or 5 times a week. Between cables, septic lines, well lines. It happens very often.
Wow.
So, but yeah, you're right. It's if everybody on the team knows and what's going on and we communicate it, and it works well.
Well, thank you so much, Gavin, for sharing your story and telling us more about Lingo Group and all the exciting projects that you have going on. I think just one final thing to ask, is there an upcoming project that you're really excited about kickstarting?
We just finished one project and we're starting 2 larger projects. So there are new swimming pool installations for the owners, and then the whole package. So we're doing the design build. So it's everything, the drainage, the hardscape, the audio system, the lighting. So I particularly like those projects because it goes from a flat dirt grass backyard to a whole living space. So we take something that's nothing and make it a whole entertainment center in the backyard for those people. And when you see the end results, and we went out today and demoed the audio system for the people, and when they heard that, they were just blown away, and they can't wait to get started. So that's exciting, to see the job from design build all the way to the end. It gives you a lot of satisfaction.
Wow, very nice. That's super cool. Well, thank you so much, Gavin. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today, and look forward to seeing more of the new projects that you have coming up You're doing a fantastic job, and congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Municibid podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the world of government surplus, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts.